The congressional race, I didn't live in that district. I moved in, and I do want to thank all that helped. The Republican Party of that area, under the direction of then Chairman Mike Steele, looked for a candidate because when they went to Hawaii, he said, enough of this not running anyone in any district. Republicans hadn't run anyone in this particular district in 20 years. Prior to that run that I did, it was a Republican district. They redrew a few lines. They drew an invisible Berlin Wall right down the middle of Long Beach, and so the Republicans took their ball and bat went home. And so they thought, well, if we're going to try, why don't we get somebody really provocative? And so they called me out of Washington, D.C. to come back to California. I live in Orange County, South Orange County. When I left L.A., I went way far. I escaped, and I went all the way down to the last city in Orange County, San Clemente, where I still reside. And so I packed my little bag, came back to Long Beach to see if we could take them out. But 5 months is just not enough time to undo 50 years in one election cycle. So we did try. I didn't make the decision lightly. I said, well, Lord, I just don't want to wake up the next day and say, why didn't I try? We knew that there was a wave in the country in 2010 because the left had overexposed themselves with Obama and Obamacare. And we didn't know if it would hit California. I mean, we're Senate balance grace much more. It could have happened, okay? In fact, when I was going to run away after California was lost totally to the left, it was Ed Meese who told me when I said, I'm moving, I'm leaving, I'm going to a state that doesn't have an income tax. And he said, need I remind you that Republicans used to have California. We gave the nation Ronald Reagan. In fact, we even had San Francisco. Like, now you're really pushing it, but I'm not sure about I'll say or not. But I didn't want to wake up the next day and say, why didn't I try? I did not want to not be a part of moving our ideas in a community that needs them desperately. And so I did not want to lose my story and who I was. And so as I knocked on doors all throughout that community, and particularly in the churches, I told my story, why I believed what I believed. I told them how I bought the lie of the left and believed that the poor were poor because the wealthy are wealthy. I told them that I believed that my problems were somebody else's fault. I told them that how the liberals had lied to them and myself for so many generations and convinced us that America was so inherently racist that we didn't need to mainstream. And I watched my life during that time of my life spiral right into a little dark hole. I believed their lie to the point that I wrote my autobiography and named it a little bit of the activities I did. It was called Pimps, Whores, and Welfare Brats. And frankly, I left a lot of detail out because of statutes of limitations that I'm not sure of, so I didn't want to end up in jail. Just to give you a little glimpse into the criminal activity, the drug activity, sexual activity, in and out of their so-called safe, legal abortion clinic after clinic. Finally having a gut instinct way down deep inside that there's got to be something wrong with killing your offspring. That I had a child, still not married, and ended up on welfare. 7 years in, now 3.5 years consistently watching my life go into a little dark hole. So I told my story everywhere I went, and I wanted confirmation that I was supposed to be doing this with my life, because I had to park my organization for 7 months to make this run. And I told my donors over at my little struggling nonprofit already, don't leave there because I have to go over here. And they left anyway and came and helped me over here, and I'm like recovered it when I went back to my business. But we told our story, and I'll never forget one church I was in. One of the ex-gang members, and you can tell, I mean, it's very clear. They have all the markings and even jail life. And he walked up to me with tears in his eyes saying, your story touched me. So I knew that we were on the right path and we were doing the right thing. And then I also wanted to get that message out. And so I had asked the Lord, hey, I need people to donate from all over the country. And the decent people in quiet communities, even like your own, people that helped me. And we were able to raise $2 million to get our story out in that little bitty area down in South LA. And we did not win. We got our message out, but we weakened her. We weakened Laura Richardson to the point that she is no longer a congresswoman, even though I didn't beat her. The next go around, when they drew lines again, the Democrats decided to go with her opponent. And she is not in Washington, D.C. right now, so I am very, very thankful for that. I said, poetic justice. For those that say, well, you gotta run again? I don't know, because where I actually live in California, where I pay my property taxes, have my residency, my pastor, and my library took me to run up to LA to see my grandchildren every now and then while I'm working in Washington, D.C. I make it back sometimes once a month. My lines redrew, and I have a wonderful congressman, so I would not want to take him on. Most of you know him. His name is Darrell Issa. I'm extremely pleased with my new congressional representation.
GrokTV.